Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at TPM Videos. When someone mentions Epcot, Spaceship Earth probably comes to mind. It's one of the most iconic centerpieces of any theme park. Epcot opened on October 1st, 1982, with Future World and World Showcase offering almost 24 pavilions to explore. Now almost 40 years old, Epcot has definitely evolved through the years, with a massive overhaul currently taking place. There have been a lot of changes and additions, and with that, there are a lot of new secrets to keep an eye out for, plus some older, less talked about favorites. So let's explore some theme park history as we count down the top 10 hidden secrets and details at Epcot. Number 10. Space 220 truly elevates your dining experience at Epcot. As you make your way into the Stellarator to travel 220 miles above Epcot, your destination is the Centauri Space Station.
If you look above, you'll see Centauri Space Station coming into view.
The name is actually a reference to the now extinct attraction Horizons. It used to occupy the plot of land where Mission Space sits today. As you pass the outer space scene on the ride, you got a glimpse at the Brava Centauri Space Station. It's that circular object, and now it's made its way back into Epcot, where the space station is a real place we can explore. Now when you're dining in Space 220 and see Earth, keep your eyes peeled for spaceships and astronauts floating past the windows. You can catch them doing a variety of different tasks, including having a lightsaber duel. But the sleek and form-fitting design of the spacesuits look nothing like traditional spacesuits we see astronauts wear. But what they do look a lot alike is the spacesuit from the outer space scene in Horizons. Tell me these don't look similar. And if you're looking for another hidden detail that pays tribute to Horizons, then take a look at the blue mural by the entrance to Mission Space. Hidden right behind this cast member, you can find the Brava Centauri Space Station. It's been here since 2017 when Disney relaunched the ride. Number 9. When you enter the Centauri Space Station, on the left-hand side you can find a hydroponic wheel. Here the astronauts are growing cabbage, cauliflower, and lettuce. It looks like a really long chamber, but Imagineers just used a mirror at the back of the display to create the illusion of it being much longer. It's a pretty convincing effect. Now the produce is fake, but the whole hydroponic setup could belong on Living with the Land. These have been on display on the ride since 1982 when it originally opened as Listen to the Land. But here's something you may not know. Disney actually teamed up with NASA, who provided hydroponic prototype units to display on the ride. And in 1982, there was a very familiar-looking hydroponic display on Listen to the Land.
By simulating gravity, Earth-spinning drops show you one experimental approach to growing food in outer space.
Including the hydroponic wheel of lettuce in Space 220 pays tribute to the original version of Living with the Land. It was on display in the ride until about 1986 to 1987, when it was then replaced by this setup. Now it's been some time since the late 80s when they were researching and developing these hydroponic practices, and in 2015, the first space salad was actually served on the International Space Station. Number 8. With the addition of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in the France Pavilion, there has definitely been a rat infestation. Thankfully, it's the good kind of rat infestation, cause they're everywhere. Imagineers cleverly incorporated Remy into many aspects of the expansion. You can find Chef Remy at the top of the boarding group sign. From the top to the bottom of the fountain, dozens of rats complete this elegant but whimsical design. And the manhole covers also have this cute little Remy. There's also a little chef hat on this gate. Now over on the railings, there's a more abstract version of Remy hidden in the design of the wrought iron. Do you see it? How about now? Well, if we trace it out, you can see it's no one other than Remy. It's a pretty neat hidden detail. Then once you make your way into the indoor part of the queue, pay special attention to the red wallpaper. Here, Imagineers incorporated little Emils and Remy's, plus kitchen items, into the design of this Victorian wallpaper. It's easy to pass on by and not even notice, but it's these small, minute details that make all the difference when it comes to Disney. As they say in French, c'est magnifique. Number 7. If you're a Pixar fan, you probably know animators love hiding Easter eggs in their films, which usually call back other Pixar films. Well, one Easter egg you can find in every film except The Incredibles is a hidden Pizza Planet truck. It started with Toy Story in 1995 and has now been in 22 out of 23 Pixar films. In the Ratatouille film, during the scene where Skinner is chasing Remy through the streets of Paris, you can quickly see the Pizza Planet truck right here in the back. It happens so fast, but that's it. Well, here on Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Pixar animators also continued the tradition of hiding this famous Easter egg. It can be found in the very first scene where Gusteau and Remy are setting up the ride. Once you enter the room, take a look to your right and you'll see the silhouette of the Pizza Planet truck in the lower pane of the window. It's there for a good chunk of the scene. And since we're on the topic of modes of transportation, you know that moped Skinner uses during the chase scene? Well, that can be found outside by the exit of the ride. Number 6. Along this street of the France expansion, you'll find La Cave d'Ego Vins Fins. This is a wine shop owned by Anton Ego, the food critic. In this display window, there are some wines and food that can be purchased in this fictional shop, including Gusteau anchovies. On the Chateau Ego wine bottles, you'll notice they have different years, and each one is significant when it comes to dates regarding Ratatouille. 2007 marks the year the Ratatouille film was released. 2014 is when the ride opened at the Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris. And of course, 2021 is the year when Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opened here in Epcot. Number 5. This next one takes us over into the Canada Pavilion, but has some ties to France. For the Food and Wine Festival, the O Canada Theatre was turned into the Apple Seed Orchard. I went inside to go check it out because who doesn't like a good cider? Well, as I was looking at this beautiful mountainous scene on the screens, I noticed there was a farmhouse. Then I thought, it looks familiar, doesn't it? Where have I seen this house before? Well, it turns out Imagineers flipped through the Disney animation archives and recycled Belle's Cottage from Beauty and the Beast. They just flipped it and placed it here in Canada. Don't believe me? Well, here's Belle's Cottage in the film. Then once it's flipped, that's the same structure found here in the Apple Seed Orchard, including the well and water wheel. Here's a little overlay composite just to further show that both of these structures are the same, just minus a few cosmetic details. I mean, this is Disney animation recycling at its finest. And during the hand-drawn animation days, Disney did this a lot. It's a fun little secret. Have any of you noticed this before? Number 4. Before we associated the Norway Pavilion with Anna and Elsa, Vikings were probably one of the first things that used to come to mind. And what's one thing associated with Vikings? Well, swords. So, if you head to the back of the pavilion, you'll find this waterfall. Back when Maelstrom was still around, there used to be a space open here where you could see the boats from the ride. It was really cool. Well, when Frozen Ever After moved in, Disney covered up the opening but left the waterfall completely intact. In doing that, they also left behind a hidden sword. That's right. It's kind of hard to see because of the water, but if you look really closely at the right-hand side, you can see a thin rectangular object. If you still can't see it, well, I'm sure this overlay helps. It's been here since the Maelstrom days and is now a remnant of the past. You can make out the sword much better here in this photo from 2013 with the water off. So next time you're in Norway, keep your eyes peeled for the hidden Viking sword. Number 3. Over in the Germany Pavilion, you can find what's known as the Epcot Garden Railway. This miniature train set debuted here in 1995 for the Flower and Garden Festival, and the setup was such a hit that it became a permanent part of the pavilion. The entire setup is very detailed, from the buildings to the people, right down to the landscaping. There's a team of cast members just in charge of maintaining the miniature trains. That's a pretty cool job. Now, Epcot hosts a variety of festivals, and if you visit the park during one of them, you'll find this miniature German village is also celebrating that same festival. Hidden on the lampposts in the town center are miniature festival banners that are replicas of the large banners seen in the park. Here, Epcot was celebrating the Food and Wine Festival, so the town also has these little mini Food and Wine Festival banners. How cute! And look, Goofy's visiting the town for the festival too. Number 2. Seeing Spaceship Earth come to life as one of the beacons of magic is truly a highlight. Imagineers knocked this one out of the park, and it's full of Disney magic. Just look at how it sparkles and shines. Imagineers installed 60 miles of cable and almost 2,000 LED lighting fixtures to create this permanent lighting package. That's right, these lights are here to stay. Now, this footage of Spaceship Earth looks nice, but I kept watching it back as I was at the park, and it just never looked the same as what my eyes saw. The color was never quite right, no matter which camera I used, and it was much more stunning in person. So here's a little secret. It's all part of the design. According to an Instagram post by Imagineer Zach Ridley, he said they chose LED emitters that produce a wavelength of blue light near the lowest wavelength perceivable by the human eye. We don't typically experience this blue color in our daily lives, and it was chosen so our retinas and the brain perceived it as a vivid color. Zach Ridley says it was meant to evoke an ethereal or even celestial feeling. I gotta say, when you're there in person, it does feel very celestial. I spent so much time just standing here watching Spaceship Earth, and a camera can only capture so much. So this is one of those things where you need to see it to believe it. Number 1. Now, remember before the Epcot overhaul when parts of the Future World pavement lit up at night? There were little mini LED lights embedded into the pavement, and it was this magical surprise at night. Now, since the pavement was ripped out during the park's transformation, we sadly lost this little secret. But we may have gotten it back, kind of. Well, as I was standing there admiring Spaceship Earth, I looked down and saw the ground start to sparkle. I immediately thought of the old pavement, but as I inspected further, this was just light from Spaceship Earth reflecting on pieces of stone in the concrete. Now, nothing Disney does is accidental. I want to say using these reflective pieces in the pavement was done intentionally. Imagineers knew the LED lights from Spaceship Earth would reflect, and it was a perfect way to create this little nod to a now extinct detail from Future World. Now, what do you think? Is this sparkling pavement intentional or just a coincidental accident? And what's your favorite secret at Epcot? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.